Dear friends, hearty welcome once again. Friends, in our today's lecture, we are going to learn about the blood vessels. We all are aware that in human being and in all vertebrates, also in some invertebrates, non-chordates, closed blood vascular system is present. We know that closed blood vascular system means the system in which blood flows through blood vessels through closed pipeline and does not come out of the blood vessels. Now, in case of human being, the blood vascular system consists of heart and different blood vessels through which the blood flows. Let me tell you first of all the major blood vessels present in the blood vascular system of human being. Consider, here is supposed to be the heart. Now, the largest blood vessel originating from the heart are known as aorta. Suppose here is a largest blood vessel originating from the left ventricle, that is nothing but the systemic aorta. Now, this aorta, it divides into smaller branches known as arteries. It means aorta divides to form artery. Artery divides to form still smaller blood vessels known as meta-arterioles. Meta-arteriole further divide to form still smaller blood vessels known as arteriole. Arterioles further redivide to form thinnest and finest blood vessels known as blood capillaries. Actually, the blood capillaries here are also of two types, such as the blood capillaries which are formed immediately due to the division of arteriole are known as arterial capillaries, and the capillaries which unite to form another blood vessel, that is venule. Such blood vessels are known as venous capillaries. Arterial capillaries are more thinner than the venous capillaries. So here the capillarization takes place at the tissue level. The venous capillaries reunite to form slightly larger blood vessel, that is venule. Different venules come together and form still larger blood vessel known as vein, and many veins come together and form a large blood vessel, large vein, that is great vein, what we call as vena cava, either superior vena cava or inferior vena cava, which open into the heart again. It means in closed blood vascular system of human being there is a blood circulation through such a closed pipeline. Here I have shown the different types of blood vessels, but there are three main types of blood vessels what we people have to consider, that is artery, capillaries and vein. So let us start the study of that three major type of blood vessels. We are going to study about the artery and vein simultaneously by considering their comparative characters. Artery and vein. Let us do its comparative study. Artery is the blood vessel which carries blood away from heart. Artery is the blood vessel which carries blood from heart to different body parts, to different body organs. So I can write here artery, it carries blood from heart to different body parts. On the other hand, Vein is the blood vessel which carries blood from different body organs to the heart. Different body organs to the heart. So we can define very simply what is artery and what is vein. Artery is the blood vessel which carries blood from heart to different body parts, and vein is the blood vessel which carries blood from different body parts back to the heart. Artery mostly carries oxygenated blood. Carries oxygenated blood, pure blood, aerated blood, except pulmonary arteries. This is only exception. Except pulmonary arteries. We know pulmonary arteries carry deoxygenated blood from heart to the lungs for oxygenation. Arteries या शुद्ध रक्त वाहून नेत असतात, ऑक्सिजनेटेड ब्लड कॅरी करत असतात, एक्सेप्ट पल्मनरी आर्टरीज. कारण आपण शिकलोय पल्मनरी आर्टरीज या हृदयापासून लंग्स कडे अशुद्ध रक्त वाहून नेत असतात फॉर ऑक्सिजनेशन ऑफ दॅट ब्लड, रक्ताच्या शुद्धीकरणासाठी. On the other hand, the veins carries deoxygenated blood, that is non-aerated blood. Again, except pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins. Because we know that the pulmonary veins, they carry oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart. So, except this exception, the arteries carry oxygenated blood, except pulmonary arteries, and veins, they carries deoxygenated blood, except pulmonary veins. The arteries are deeply seated in the body, deeply located, deeply situated in the body, except radial artery, brachial artery, and femoral artery. These three arteries are quite superficial. Radial artery, it runs along the anterior most part of forearm. You know, generally the pulse can be noticed at radial artery near the wrist region. The brachial artery, it runs along the medial part of the upper arm, and the pulse can be noted at the brachial artery near the elbow region, while femoral artery, it passes through the thigh region. Here femoral, this word stands for the femur. You know femur, it is the bone of thigh. Radial, this word stands for the radius bone. You know it is one of the two bones present in the forearm. So I told you that arteries are mostly deeply seated in the body except radial, brachial and femoral arteries, while the veins are superficially located. Superficially located. The arteries are thick-walled, pulsatile in nature, more elastic, with narrow lumen. Listen, I said that the wall of artery is quite thick, muscular, pulsatile. Pulsatile in the sense it has ability to undergo constriction and dilation. It is more elastic. Why? I will tell you after a few minutes. And its lumen is comparatively narrow. On the other hand, the veins have thin wall. These are thin walled, less elastic, less pulsatile, and with wide lumen. Wide lumen. Lumen in the sense internal cavity. या रक्तवाहिन्यांमध्ये असणाऱ्या पोकळ्या, आर्टरी मध्ये असणारी जी पोकळी आहे, ल्युमेन आहे, ती तुलनात्मक दृष्ट्या ही नॅरो असते, अरुंद असते, आणि या ठिकाणी व्हेन्स मध्ये असणारी जी पोकळी आहे, ल्युमेन आहे, ती मात्र तुलनात्मक दृष्ट्या ही वाईड असते, रुंद असते. The arteries are without valves. On the other hand, the veins, they show presence of valves at regular interval. We all are known what is the function of valve. While discussing the heart, we have already discussed that the valves are responsible to prevent the backflow of blood. They facilitate unidirectional flow of blood. रक्त एकाच दिशेने प्रवाहित होण्यासाठी आणि रक्त उलट मार्गाने परत फ्लो होऊ नये यासाठी valves आवश्यकता असते. The valves simply acts as the swinging doors and they maintain the unidirectional flow of blood. Now in arteries the valves are absent. Why? Because the blood flows quite rapidly and with high pressure. या ठिकाणी आर्टरीज मधून रक्त हे वेगाने आणि हाय प्रेशरने प्रवाहित होत असतं and that's why there is less chance of reverse flow, back flow of blood, and therefore there is no need of valves in arteries. On the other hand, here in veins the flow of blood is slow, steady and with low pressure. And therefore there is a need of valves to prevent the backflow of blood. After death, the arteries generally becomes empty. त्या व्यक्तीचा मृत्यू झाल्यानंतर सर्वसाधारण आर्टरीज या एम्प्टी होऊन जातात, त्यांच्यामध्ये रक्त राहत नाही. While after death, the veins remain filled by means of blood. मात्र मृत्यू झाल्यानंतर वेन्स मध्ये रक्त हे शिल्लक राहतं. हा आणखीन एक फरक या ठिकाणी मी मांडू शकतो. After death, arteries becomes empty, while after death, veins remain filled by means of blood. Now, we people have to discuss about the histological structure of wall of artery as well as vein. या ठिकाणी मी आर्टरी आणि व्हेन या दोघांमधले काही मूलभूत फरक सांगत होतो. Now we people have to study about the histological structure of wall of artery and wall of vein. Before going to that, let us take a fast revision about the distinguishing points between artery and vein. Look at the blackboard. Arteries are the blood vessels which carry blood from heart to different body parts, while veins are the blood vessels which carry blood from different body parts back to the heart. Arteries carries oxygenated blood except pulmonary arteries. Veins carries deoxygenated blood except pulmonary veins. The arteries are deeply seated in the body except radial, brachial and femoral arteries, while the veins are superficially located. The arteries are thick walled, these are pulsatile, more elastic, and the lumen is narrow. On the other hand, the veins are thin walled, less elastic with wide lumen. The arteries are without valves, while the veins show valves at regular interval to prevent the reverse flow, backflow of blood. In arteries, the blood flows rapidly and with high pressure, while in veins the flow of blood is slow, steady with low pressure. After death, the arteries becomes empty, while the veins remain filled by means of blood. Also, if we cut the artery, then its shape, circular shape, it remains as it is. जरी आपण आर्टरीला कट केलं तरी सुद्धा कट केल्यानंतर आर्टरीचा जो आकार आहे तो तसाच राहतो. But if we cut the vein, then its circular shape is not retained, it collapses. Of course, why this is so, that you will understand after some time. So here we have discussed the distinguishing point between artery and vein. And now let us talk about the study of histological structure of artery and vein. Histological structure of wall of artery and vein. First of all, let us talk about the TS of artery. The wall of artery is composed of three coats such as tunica, externa may be known as tunica adventitia, middle coat tunica media, and inner coat tunica interna, or may be simply called as tunica intima. Let us talk. First, tunica externa or tunica adventitia. It is the outermost coat and it is made up of loose fibrous connective tissue with white and yellow fibers, that is collagen fibers and elastic fibers present longitudinally in the wall of artery. Listen, I said that the tunica externa, which is the outermost coat of wall of artery, it is made up of loose fibrous connective tissue with white fibers. You know, white fibers means collagen fibers, and yellow fibers, that is elastic fibers, present longitudinally in the wall of artery. Let me draw here the diagram. Consider, here is supposed to be the outermost coat, that is tunica externa or tunica adventitia, and here I am going to show these collagen fibers or yellow fibers, tunica externa. This tunica externa, it provides strength to the wall of artery as well as it prevents the over expansion of artery during the flow of blood. Means it provides strength to the wall of artery. Second layer, tunica media. It is middle layer and it is made up of smooth muscles, circular smooth muscles mixed with some elastic fibers also. This tunica media is quite well developed in artery. It is well developed, and I said it is made up of circular smooth muscle fibers intermixed with elastic fibers. Let me show in the diagram. Consider, this is supposed to be the tunica media, and I repeatedly told you it is made up of circular smooth muscles. It is quite thick, well developed and mixed with elastic fibers, and due to which the arteries are pulsatile and elastic in nature, its constriction and relaxation, constriction and dilation is possible. So this is nothing but the tunica media. Come to the tunica interna or tunica intima. It is innermost coat and it is further made up of two layers. Tunica interna हा आतला लेयर आहे आणि परत तो दोन सब लेयर्स ने तयार झालेला आहे, such as outer elastic layer. Please look at the diagram. Suppose with the help of yellow chalk I am going to show this is elastic layer. It is quite well developed and made up of elastic fibers. And inner endothelium. This layer is made up of quite elongated, flat, thin, squamous epithelial cells. Let me show in the diagram. And that endothelial cells or flat squamous epithelial cells are rest on basement membrane. Please look at the diagram. Consider करा की या ठिकाणी हे बेसमेंट मेम्ब्रेन मी दाखवतोय, कारण आपल्याला माहिती आहे की एपिथेलियल टिश्यू मध्ये त्या एपिथेलियल सेल्स या एका नॉन सेल्युलर मेम्ब्रेन वर प्रेझेंट असतात, त्याला आपण बेसमेंट मेम्ब्रेन म्हणतो. And here are the endothelial cells. These are quite elongated, here in artery, flat, thin. So with the help of blue chalk I am going to show endothelium. and with the help of yellow chalk, this is elastic layer. So these two sublayers togetherly forms the innermost coat of the wall of artery, that is tunica interna. Now please look, the lumen, that is the cavity enclosed by artery, is comparatively narrow and it is devoid of valves. There are no valves. Now come to the vein. Let us talk about the histological structure of vein. First of all, you must know that the wall of vein also composed of same three coats, that is outer tunica externa, middle tunica media and inner tunica interna, with some difference. फक्त काही फरक आहे. What that difference is, let me tell you. First, in veins मध्ये this middle layer, that is tunica media, is comparatively thinner, less developed, with less number of smooth muscle fibers as well as elastic fibers. हा पहिला फरक आहे. आता आपण बघितलं की आर्टरीज मध्ये हा जो मिडल कोट आहे tunica media, it is well developed, it is quite thick with smooth muscle fibers and elastic fibers. But in veins, this tunica media is comparatively thin as well as with less number of smooth muscle fibers and elastic fibers. Let me show. As usual, suppose here is external layer, that is nothing but the tunica externa, and here is middle layer made up of smooth muscles and elastic fibers. Just you can compare about the thickness of this middle layer, and the inner layer, that is inner coat, that is tunica interna, it is again made up of two layers, that is elastic layer and endothelium. यातही थोडासा फरक दिसतो. Here this elastic layer in arteries is quite thick, well developed, but in case of veins the elastic layer is comparatively thinner, and the endothelium is again made up of flat, thin, squamous epithelial cells, but comparatively in veins that squamous epithelial cells, endothelial cells are slightly less elongated than the endothelial cells which form the lining of artery. Okay, let me show. या ठिकाणी ह्या endothelial cells मी दाखवतो. Now as the wall of vein is comparatively thin and therefore the lumen of vein is wide, and I already told you it shows the presence of valves at regular interval to prevent the backflow of blood. So here we have discussed about the artery and vein. Now let us talk about the third major type of blood vessel, that is the capillary. Capillaries are considered as the thinnest and smallest type of blood vessel. The capillaries are thin walled, and the wall of capillary is simply made up of single layer of flat squamous epithelial cells, that is endothelium, and these endothelial cells are rest on the basement membrane. It means here is no tunica externa, no tunica media, also there is no such a elastic layer. Okay, it means the wall of capillary is very thin and it is permeable to the water as well as small solute molecules, but it does not allow the passing of large molecules such as the proteins, okay, or some other large molecules, other large organic compounds. And therefore we all are known the exchange of different materials, that is the nutrients, gases, hormones, etc. with the tissue fluid and blood takes place at the level of capillary. जर या ठिकाणी कॅपिलरीची भित्तिका ही अतिशय थिन आहे, त्यामधून वॉटर आणि इतर स्मॉल सोल्यूट मॉलिक्युल्स इझिली पास होऊ शकतात आणि म्हणून ज्या वेळेला रक्तामार्फत वेगवेगळे पदार्थ आणले जातात त्यावेळेला टिश्यू फ्लुइड, you know here is the interstitial fluid, या ठिकाणी टिश्यू फ्लुइड आणि ब्लड या दोघांमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या पदार्थांची देवाणघेवाण कॅपिलरी लेवलला होत असते. इट मीन्स the nutrients and oxygen it diffuses out from blood into the tissue fluid, and the unwanted materials like waste materials, nitrogenous toxic waste materials, carbon dioxide etc. that diffuses from tissue fluid into the blood. It means the exchange of materials between the blood and tissue fluid takes place at the capillary level. Now one more point here I want to raise, that is portal vein. Just now we have discussed about the artery, vein and capillary, but in addition to that there are presence of some additional and special type of blood vessels. One of them here we are going to discuss, that is portal vein. Portal vein म्हणजे काय हे तुम्हाला या ठिकाणी मी सांगतोय. आत्ताच आपण बघितलं, the vein is formed by the reunion of capillaries. It means the vein at its only one end shows capillary system. सर्वसाधारण ज्या नॉर्मल व्हेन्स आहेत त्यांच्यामध्ये कॅपिलरी सिस्टीम ही त्यांच्या एका टोकाला फक्त दिसत असते, प्रॉक्सिमल एंडला दिसत असते. बट द व्हेन्स which show double capillary system, that is at its proximal end as well as at its distal end. ज्या व्हेन्सच्या सुरुवातीला आणि शेवटी प्रॉक्सिमल आणि डिस्टल दोन्ही एंडला जर कॅपिलरी सिस्टीम असेल तर अशा व्हेनला म्हटलं जातं पोर्टल व्हेन. लेट मी गिव्ह यू वन एक्झाम्पल. पोर्टल व्हेन, आत्ताच मी म्हटलं की पोर्टल व्हेन मीन्स द व्हेन, द ब्लड वेसल which has double capillary system. A typical example is of hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein, it carries the nutrients from intestine up to the liver. Look, suppose here is the alimentary canal. Just consider esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine etc. We all are aware that mainly digestion takes place in the small intestine, and the wall of small intestine is highly vascular. It has a very rich supply of blood capillaries. The nutrients, digested food material that diffuses into the blood capillaries, these blood capillaries unite to form the portal vein called as the hepatic portal vein. And this hepatic portal vein run up to the liver. Consider here is supposed to be the liver. In liver, it again undergoes capillarization, redivide to form capillaries, and whatever materials are brought by this hepatic portal vein, that is again downloaded here in the liver. Now this blood vessel, this vein which has dual capillary system, double capillary system at its proximal end as well as its distal end, is known as the portal vein. And here in this example, as this portal vein carries the blood from viscera, from intestine up to the liver, liver, that's why the name is given as hepatic portal vein. In addition to that, there are presence of some another blood vessels also, such as vasa, vasorum and so on. But in this lecture, we people have discussed about the three major blood vessels, that is artery, vein and capillary, simultaneously about the portal vein. So let us stop here. Thank you and bye.